Captain Jake Martinez stood on the bridge of the starship Starbound and watched the alien world grow larger on the main screen. After 300 years of dreaming about this moment, humanity was finally meeting another intelligent species. The planet below looked peaceful with its blue oceans and green continents. It reminded him of Earth, but everything felt different knowing that aliens lived down there. "Captain, we're getting a response to our greeting message," said Lieutenant Maria Rodriguez from her station. Her voice carried excitement that she tried to hide behind professional calm. "They're sending coordinates for a landing site and what looks like a welcome message." Jake nodded and felt his heart beat faster. 3 months ago, human scientists had detected radio signals from this system. The signals were clearly artificial and showed intelligence behind them. After decades of searching the stars for signs of life, humanity had finally found what they were looking for. Dr. Lisa Parker looked up from her science station. As the mission's expert on alien life, she had spent years preparing for this moment. "Their language is complex, but our computers are starting to understand it. They call themselves the Zephyrians. From what we can tell, they seem friendly." "Any signs of weapons or military activity?" asked Commander Alex Stone, the ship's security chief. He was a careful man who always thought about possible dangers. "None that we can detect," Lisa replied. "Their cities look peaceful. No military bases or weapon systems that our scanners can find. They might be more peaceful than humans." Jake made his decision. "Prepare the shuttle. We'll take a small team down to meet them. Lisa, you're with me as our science expert. Alex, you'll handle security. Maria, you stay here and keep communications open." 2 hours later, their shuttle landed at the coordinates the Zephyrians had given them. Jake felt nervous as the shuttle door opened. This was the most important moment in human history. The first time humans would meet beings from another world. The Zephyrians waiting for them looked nothing like humans. They stood about 7 feet tall with long, thin bodies covered in soft fur that changed colors like a rainbow. Their heads were large with huge eyes on the sides, and they had long necks that moved gracefully. They looked gentle and beautiful, in a way that made Jake feel peaceful just looking at them. The lead Zephyrian stepped forward and spoke in a musical voice. The translator device Lisa carried turned his words into English. "Welcome, beings from the stars. I am First Speaker Veltar. We greet you with joy and curiosity." Jake stepped forward and tried to stay calm. "I am Captain Jake Martinez, representing humanity and the planet Earth. We come in peace, hoping to learn about your people and share knowledge." The next few hours passed like a wonderful dream. The Zephyrians were everything humans had hoped aliens would be. They were kind, intelligent, and eager to learn about humanity. They showed the human visitors their beautiful city with its flowing architecture that looked like it had grown rather than been built. Gardens filled with strange and beautiful plants covered every surface. Veltar explained that the Zephyrians had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. They were part of something called the Galactic Council, a group of many different alien species that worked together in peace. Jake could hardly believe it. Not only had humanity found intelligent aliens, but there was an entire galaxy full of different species living in harmony. "Your species interests us greatly," Veltar said as they walked through a garden filled with floating flowers. "We have met many different kinds of beings, but you are unique in ways we are still trying to understand." That evening, the Zephyrians invited the humans to a feast to celebrate their first meeting. The great hall where they ate was beautiful, with walls that glowed softly and music that seemed to come from the air itself. Hundreds of Zephyrians gathered to see the aliens from Earth. The problems started during the meal. Lisa was trying to explain human culture when a young Zephyrian asked about human food. Without thinking, Lisa mentioned that humans ate both plants and animals. The translator carried her words clearly to everyone in the hall. The effect was immediate and terrible. The musical conversation stopped. Every Zephyrian eye turned to stare at the humans. The beautiful colors in their fur shifted to darker, frightening shades. Several Zephyrians made sounds that the translator couldn't handle, but Jake could tell they were sounds of fear and disgust. "You consume other living beings?" Veltar asked, his voice shaking. "You kill animals and eat their flesh?" Lisa realized, her mistake too late. Well, yes, but we also eat plants. Humans are omnivores. We need both plants and animals to stay healthy. The situation got worse when Alex tried to help. It's natural for us. Humans evolved as hunters. That's why our eyes face forward and we have sharp teeth. He showed his teeth and what he meant, as a friendly smile, but the Zephyrians moved back in terror. Lisa kept talking, trying to explain, but every word made things worse. She mentioned that humans had once hunted large animals with spears and arrows. She talked about how human ancestors had been predators who tracked and killed their prey. She explained that this hunting past had made humans good at solving problems and working together. The Zephyrians listened in growing horror. Feltar's fur had turned completely black, a color Jake now realized meant fear or anger. You are saying that your entire species descended from killers? That you are predators who learn to think? We're not just predators, Jake said, trying to fix the situation. Humans also care for each other. We protect our families and help those who need help. We're not monsters. But it was too late. The damage was done. Veltar stood up, and his voice carried authority that made everyone listen. This meeting is over. You must leave our world immediately. We cannot allow predators to remain among peaceful beings. The great hall emptied quickly as Zephyrians hurried away from the humans. Many looked back with expressions of fear and disgust. Jake felt his heart break as he watched their first contact with aliens turn into disaster. Back on the Starbound, Maria had been monitoring Zephyrian communications. Her face was pale when the team returned. Captain, they've been sending messages to other worlds. They're warning everyone about us. They're calling us Death World predators and nightmare beings from the dark spaces. Alex looked at the communications, data, and shook his head. They're telling other species that we're dangerous, that we kill and eat other living things, that we're a threat to all peaceful life in the galaxy. Lisa sat at her station with her head in her hands. I ruined everything. I should have been more careful about what I said. I should have realized that a species of plant eaters would be horrified by our nature. Jake put his hand on her shoulder. You couldn't have known. We all assumed that other intelligent species would understand that different worlds create different kinds of life. Over the next few days, the situation became clear. The Zephyrians had contacted dozens of other species in the galaxy. Every single one reacted with the same horror and fear. Humanity's first contact with galactic civilization had branded them as monsters before they even had a chance to prove otherwise. As the Starbound headed back toward Earth, Jake stared at the stars and wondered what humanity would do now. They had found the galaxy they had always dreamed of finding, but that galaxy saw them as the enemy before they even began. 6 months had passed since the disaster with the Zephyrians, and Captain Ben Murphy stared at another empty star system. His trade ship Meridian had visited 12 different alien worlds in the past month, and each time the result was the same. The moment aliens detected that his ship carried humans, they either ran away or told him to leave immediately. Another rejection signal coming in, said his communications officer, Lieutenant Sam Taylor. Sam was new to space travel but had learned quickly how unwelcome humans were in the galaxy. They're broadcasting the same message we've heard before. Stay away from their system or they'll consider it an act of war. Ben turned to his science officer, Dr. Amy Foster, who had been studying alien communications for months. Any luck figuring out why they all hate us so much? Amy looked up from her computer screen, her face tired from weeks of bad news. I've been analyzing the messages between alien species. They have something called the Galactic Council that makes decisions for most intelligent life in this part of space. Right after our meeting with the Zephyrians, they held an emergency session about humanity. What did they decide? Ben asked, though he already knew it wouldn't be good news. They classified us as a Class 5 aggressive species, Amy replied. From what I can understand, that's the highest danger level they have. It's reserved for species they consider too dangerous to exist near civilized worlds. Major Kate Williams, the ship's security chief, looked up from her weapon systems display. Class 5, what does that mean exactly? Amy pulled up the translation on her screen. According to their records, a Class 5 species is one that shows extreme predatory behavior, has a history of violence, and poses a direct threat to peaceful galactic civilization. The last species they gave this rating to was something called the Krextar, and that was 800 years ago. What happened to the Krextar? Ben asked. They were wiped out, Amy said quietly. The entire species. The Galactic Council decided they were too dangerous to live. The bridge fell silent as everyone understood what that meant. The galaxy hadn't just rejected humanity. They were planning to destroy them. Over the next week, Ben's team intercepted more alien communications. What they learned painted a picture of galactic civilization that was very different from what humans had expected. Dr. Sam Taylor, who had joined the mission as a specialist in alien psychology, made the most disturbing discovery. I've been studying the dominant species in the galaxy, Sam reported during their daily briefing. The Zephyrians, the Altani, the Viridian Collective, and dozens of others. They all have something in common. They're all prey species. What do you mean? Kate asked. Every single major civilization in the galaxy evolved from animals that were hunted by predators on their homeworlds, Sam explained. They all have eyes on the sides of their heads for watching for danger. They all eat only plants. They all come from worlds with low gravity and lots of resources where running away was the best survival strategy. Ben felt a chill run down his spine. Are you saying there are no predator species in galactic civilization? None in positions of power, Sam replied. I found references to some species that might have been predators once, but they either disappeared or were forced to live on the edges of known space. The galaxy is run entirely by species that think like prey animals. Amy added her own research to the discussion. That explains their reaction to us. To them, we represent their worst nightmare. A predator species that developed intelligence, technology, and space travel. In their minds, we're exactly the kind of creatures their ancestors spent millions of years running from. The situation became even clearer when Major Kate Williams led a secret scouting mission to observe alien space around human colonies. What she found confirmed their worst fears. They're watching us, Kate reported when she returned. I counted at least 50 alien ships positioned around our outer colonies. They're not attacking yet, but they're definitely preparing for something. Preparing for what? Ben asked. War, Kate said simply. They're studying our defenses, mapping our trade routes, and positioning fleets at key points. This isn't just fear anymore. They're planning to attack us before we can spread further into the galaxy. The most shocking discovery came when Amy intercepted a classified communication between alien military commanders. The message was heavily encrypted, but human computers were better at breaking codes than the aliens expected. Listen to this, Amy said, playing the translated message for everyone. Military command to all fleet captains. The predator species from the third spiral arm must be contained immediately. Their expansion threatens the fundamental order of galactic peace. Prepare for total elimination protocols as used against the Krextar. Ben felt sick. Total elimination. They're planning genocide. Sam looked at the message data and shook his head. It's worse than that. I've been studying their history, and this isn't the first time they've done this. Over the past 3,000 years, they've systematically destroyed dozens of species they considered too aggressive or dangerous. They call it maintaining galactic peace, Amy added. But really, they're just eliminating anyone who doesn't fit their idea of how intelligent species should behave. Kate studied the military data they had gathered. The strange thing is, they're not very good at actual fighting. Their idea of warfare is formal challenges and ritualized combat. They've never faced an enemy that uses real military tactics. What do you mean? Ben asked. All their weapons are designed for individual combat or destroying stationary targets, Kate explained. They don't understand concepts like coordinated attacks, strategic deception, or combined arms tactics. They fight like prey animals that have learned to use weapons, not like predators that understand warfare. The conversation was interrupted by an urgent message from Earth. Admiral Rick Johnson appeared on their communication screen, his face grave with bad news. All human ships are being recalled to Earth immediately, the Admiral announced. We've detected massive alien fleet movements toward our outer colonies. Intelligence suggests they're preparing for a first strike within the next month. Ben felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Admiral, We've learned something important about galactic civilization. The entire galaxy is controlled by prey species that have been systematically eliminating predator species for thousands of years. Explain, the Admiral ordered. Amy stepped forward to deliver their findings. Sir, humanity isn't just dealing with fear or prejudice. We're facing an entire galactic civilization that sees predator species as an existential threat to their way of life. They've built their entire society around the idea that aggressive species must be destroyed to maintain peace. The Admiral was quiet for several moments as he processed this information. Are you telling me that the galaxy practices genocide as official policy? Yes, sir, Sam replied, and we're next on their list. As the Meridian headed back toward Earth at maximum speed, Ben stared out at the stars and realized that humanity's first contact with galactic civilization had revealed a terrible truth. The galaxy wasn't the peaceful paradise they had hoped to find. It was a civilization built on fear, where being different meant being destroyed. But Ben also realized something else. The aliens had made a mistake. They had given humanity time to prepare, and they had underestimated what predators could do when they were threatened. The galaxy was about to learn that prey species and predator species fought very differently, and that sometimes the hunter became the hunted. Scoutship Wanderer drifted silently through the dark space at the edge of known galaxy. Captain Lisa Grant had been running secret missions for 3 months, searching for anything that might help humanity survive the coming war. Her orders were simple: find allies, find weapons, or find a way to escape. So far, she had found nothing but empty space and the occasional alien patrol ship that shot at her on sight. Captain, I'm picking up something strange, said her sensor operator, Lieutenant Tony Lee. There's a ship out there, but it's not like anything in our database. It's big, heavily armed, and it's heading straight for us. Lisa felt her heart race. After months of being hunted by alien fleets, any unknown ship was a potential threat. Battle stations, prepare for evasive maneuvers. But the ship that appeared on their main screen was unlike anything they had seen before. It was twice the size of their scout ship, covered in armor plating and weapon systems that looked designed for serious warfare. Unlike the smooth, peaceful designs of Galactic Council ships, this vessel looked like it was built for war. They're sending a message, Tony reported. Audio only, and it's not in any language our computers recognize. The voice that came through their speakers was deep and rough, speaking in growls and harsh sounds that made Lisa think of Earth's ancient predators. Then her computer finished translating, and the words made her sit up straight. Human ship, this is Commander Thrak of the Thrakari War Clan. We know what you are, and we know what the prey speakers want to do to you. If you wish to live, follow us to safe space. If you wish to fight, follow us to where real warriors gather. Lisa looked at her crew. They had been searching for months without finding anything hopeful. Now they had found something, but it might be even more dangerous than the aliens hunting them. Send a reply, she decided. Tell them we'll follow, but we want to talk first. The response came quickly. Talking is for prey speakers. We are warriors. Follow or die alone. Lisa made her choice. Set course to follow them, but keep our weapons ready. The Thrakari ship led them deeper into the dark space beyond the galaxy's edge, where no Galactic Council ships ever traveled. After 2 days of flying, they reached a hidden system with several planets and dozens of ships unlike anything in Council space. These ships were built for war, covered in weapons and armor that spoke of a very different kind of civilization. Welcome to the Forgotten Reaches, Commander Thrak said when they met face to face on his ship. He was 8 feet tall, covered in thick fur and natural armor, with forward-facing eyes like a human, and teeth that were clearly designed for tearing meat. This is where the prey speakers send those they fear but cannot kill. Lisa felt a strange mix of fear and relief. Finally, they had found someone who understood what humanity was facing. You're predators like us? Thrak made a sound that might have been laughter. We are the Thrakari. We ruled 17 star systems before the prey speakers came with their peace and their civilization. Now we live in the dark spaces and remember what we lost. Over the next few hours, Lisa learned the true history of the galaxy. The Thrakari had once been a proud warrior species with a civilization built on honor and strength. They had never attacked peaceful worlds, but they had refused to accept the Galactic Council's authority over their own space. The Prey Speakers could not defeat us in honest battle, Thrak explained, so they used their numbers and their technology to slowly push us out of our home systems. They told the galaxy we were too dangerous to exist near civilized worlds. They cut off our trade, blocked our communications, and forced us to live like outcasts. Dr. Amy Foster, who had joined the mission to study alien cultures, asked the question that everyone was thinking. How many other species have they done this to? Thrak's expression grew dark. Many. The Kithara, who were great hunters. The Zulmari, who were warriors like us. The hegemony of blades who built weapons that could split planets, all of them driven to the edge of space or destroyed completely. But you survived, Lisa said. We survived because we learned to hide and because we never stopped fighting, Thrak replied. But we have been waiting for something to change. The Prey Speakers grow stronger every year and we grow fewer. Until now. Captain Tony Lee looked confused. What changed? You arrived, Thrak said simply. Humans are the first new predator species to enter the galaxy in over 1,000 years. More importantly, you are the first to bring new ways of thinking about warfare. Lisa felt a spark of hope. You want to fight alongside us? We want to learn from you, Thrak corrected. Your species has something we lost long ago. You understand how to fight together instead of fighting alone. You have tactics we have never seen. You turn warfare into an art form. The next few weeks changed everything. Colonel Mike Davis arrived with a team of military advisors, and what they found amazed them. The Thrakari and other hidden predator species were individually stronger and better armed than any human, but they fought like individual warriors rather than coordinated armies. They're incredibly skilled fighters, Mike reported to Lisa, but they don't understand combined tactics. Each warrior fights his own battle, even when they're part of a larger force. They've never learned to work together the way humans do. The solution came when Dr. Amy Foster suggested sharing human military history with their new allies. The Thrakari were fascinated by human concepts like coordinated artillery strikes, flanking maneuvers, and strategic deception. Your ancestors fought entire wars using these tactics, Thrak asked, studying recordings of human battles. Our ancestors had to learn to hunt creatures much larger and stronger than themselves, Mike explained. We survived by being smarter, not stronger. We learned to work together, to plan ahead, and to use our enemy's strength against them. The first joint training exercises were a disaster. Thrakari warriors kept trying to charge straight at their enemies, while humans tried to coordinate complex maneuvers. But slowly, both sides began to learn from each other. Lisa watched as human soldiers learned to use Thrakari weapons and armor, while Thrakari warriors learned human tactics and discipline. The combination was remarkable. Human strategic thinking combined with alien strength and technology created something entirely new. We're not just creating an alliance, Lisa realized. We're creating a new kind of military force. The breakthrough came when they received word that Galactic Council fleets were massing for their attack on human space. Instead of running or hiding, the combined human Thrakari force decided to fight back. For too long we have lived in fear of the Prey Speakers, Thrak announced to the gathered warriors. They have taken our homes, destroyed our people, and forced us to hide in the darkness. But now we have found brothers who understand what it means to be hunters. Captain Lisa Grant stood beside him, representing humanity in this historic moment. The galaxy thinks that predators are monsters who only know how to destroy. They're about to learn that predators also know how to protect those they care about. The combined fleet that left the Forgotten Reaches was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships flew alongside Thrakari war vessels, with crews that mixed different species working together toward a common goal. For the first time, in thousands of years, the galaxy's predator species were united instead of scattered. As they headed toward the first battle, Lisa felt something she hadn't experienced since leaving Earth. Hope. The galaxy had tried to destroy them, but instead they had found allies who understood what it meant to fight for survival. The Prey Speakers were about to discover that when predators work together, They were far more dangerous than when they fought alone. Admiral Jake Collins stood on the bridge of the human flagship Defender and watched the largest fleet in galactic history approach his position. 1,200 Galactic Council ships spread across space like a metal cloud, their weapons charging for what they expected to be an easy victory over the dangerous predator species from Earth. "Sir, they're broadcasting surrender demands," reported Communications Officer Sue Miller. "They want us to submit to total disarmament and relocation to a prison world. They say this is our last chance to avoid complete destruction." Jake looked at his small fleet of 200 human ships and smiled grimly. The Galactic Council had no idea what they were about to face. "Send them our response. Tell them that humanity chooses to stand and fight." 3 days earlier, the massive Council fleet had surrounded the human colony world of New Denver. They expected the humans to panic and beg for mercy like every other species they had faced. Instead, they found the humans calmly preparing for battle and requesting a formal meeting. The Council's Grand Admiral Seftai had agreed to the meeting, expecting to receive humanity's surrender. Instead, he found himself facing something he had never encountered in 800 years of warfare, an enemy that wanted to negotiate while preparing to fight. "You cannot win this battle," Seftai had told Jake during their communication. "We outnumber you 6-1. Our weapons are more advanced, our ships are larger. Surrender now and some of your people may be allowed to live as prisoners." Jake had looked at the alien admiral with calm confidence. "Grand Admiral, you're right, that you outnumber us. But you've made one mistake. You think this is going to be the same kind of battle you've always fought. Now, as the Council fleet moved into attack position, that mistake was about to become clear. The Council ships formed their traditional battle formation, a long line of vessels that would fire in sequence, giving each ship a clear shot at the enemy. It was the same tactic they had used for thousands of years against species that fought the same way they did. General Paul Harris, commanding the human tactical response, watched the alien formation with satisfaction. "They're doing exactly what we expected. They're fighting like they're still chasing herbivores across open plains." The first surprise came when the Council fleet opened fire and discovered that the human ships weren't where they appeared to. Farseer. Captain Tony Lee had deployed holographic decoys throughout the battle area, making it look like human ships were in positions they had actually left hours ago. "Direct hits on multiple human vessels," reported the Council's tactical officer. "Wait, the destroyed ships are disappearing. They weren't real." By the time the Council fleet realized they had been firing at illusions, the real human ships had moved into position behind them. The second surprise was discovering that humans didn't fight in the formal, predictable way the Council expected. Instead of lining up ship against ship, the humans used what they called wolf pack tactics. Small groups of human ships attacked different parts of the massive Council fleet at the same time, striking quickly and then disappearing before the aliens could respond effectively. Major Kate Williams led one of these attack groups, hitting the Council's supply ships while their main fleet was focused on the battle with human fighters. "Supply convoy destroyed," she reported, moving to secondary targets. The Council had never faced an enemy that attacked their support vessels while the main battle was happening. In their experience, warfare was about formal combat between equal forces, not strategic attacks on vulnerable targets. But the biggest surprise came when the Council fleet found itself facing not just humans, but a combined force they had never imagined possible. Thrakari warships emerged from behind the system's largest moon, followed by ships from a dozen other predator species that the Council thought they had eliminated years ago. Commander Thrak's voice echoed across all communication channels as the hidden predator fleet joined the battle. "Pray, speakers of the false peace, you told the galaxy we were dead. Today you learn that predators do not die easily." The sight of species they thought they had destroyed working together with the humans shook the Council fleet in ways that weapons could not. For the first time in their civilization's history, they were facing an alliance of predator species that fought as one unified force. Grand Admiral Seftai tried to maintain order as his perfect battle formation fell apart. "All ships, reform battle lines. Focus fire on the largest enemy vessels." But human tactics had taught their alien allies new ways to fight. Instead of the individual combat the Council expected, they found themselves facing coordinated attacks that hit them from multiple directions at once. Human strategy combined with alien firepower created a fighting force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The tide of battle turned when Captain Lisa Grant led a strike team directly at the Council flagship. Instead of trying to destroy it, she used a tactic that horrified the Council. She offered the crew a chance to surrender and join the Predator Alliance. Council vessel, this is Captain Grant of the Human Thrakari Alliance. Your ship is surrounded and your weapons are disabled. We offer you a choice. Surrender and join us in creating a better galaxy, or continue fighting and be destroyed. The concept of offering mercy to a defeated enemy was so alien to Council thinking that many of their ships simply stopped fighting in confusion. They had never encountered an enemy that wanted to convert rather than kill them. Admiral Jake Collins opened a communication channel to the entire Council fleet. Warriors of the Galactic Council, you came here to destroy us because you fear what we represent. But look around you. We're not the monsters you thought we were. We're fighting alongside species you drove away, and we're offering mercy to those who surrender. The battle's end came not with massive destruction, but with something even more shocking. When Grand Admiral Seftai's flagship was captured, Jake Collins personally ensured the alien commander was treated with respect and dignity. You fought bravely, Jake told the defeated admiral. Your people are skilled warriors, but you've been fighting the wrong enemy. The real enemy is the fear that has divided predator and prey species for thousands of years. Over the next several months, the galaxy watched in amazement as the impossible happened. Instead of destroying the Council fleet, the Predator Alliance began working with them to create something new. Species that had been enemies for millennia began cooperating on projects that benefited everyone. Dr. Nancy Clark, now serving as head of interspecies relations, established the first mixed species research stations. Predator species provided security and exploration capabilities, while prey species contributed their advanced technology and resources. The combination created advances that neither side could have achieved alone. 5 years after the battle, Ambassador Tim Brown walked through the halls of the new Galactic Union headquarters on the neutral world of Haven. Representatives from over 100 species worked together on problems that had seemed impossible to solve when the galaxy was divided by fear. The remarkable thing, Tim often told visitors, is that the galaxy didn't change because humanity conquered it. It changed because we proved that cooperation was stronger than conquest. The old Galactic Council had maintained peace through fear, keeping predator and prey species apart. The new Galactic Union maintained peace through understanding, bringing different species together to create something better than either could build alone. Commander Thrak, now serving as head of Union Security, summed up the change perfectly. The prey speakers taught us that different species could live in peace. The humans taught us that different species could live in friendship. Together we learned that diversity makes us stronger, not weaker. The galaxy had indeed changed when humanity met predators, but not in the way anyone expected. Instead of destruction, they had found creation. Instead of war, they had found a new kind of peace built on cooperation rather than fear.